What's up, guys? My name is Scott. I'm an aircraft mechanic working on business jets, corporate jets, private jets, whatever you want to call them. We're heading into the hangar today. We've got a couple jobs to do. We got a Bombardier Global 7500 that's going to fly in a little while. It needs a pre-flight, just make sure we don't have any faults. So we're going to knock that out, and then once it's gone, I'm going to head to another airport and change some wheels on an Embraer Praetor 500, and also just give that one a quick look around and make sure she's all topped off and serviced and everything. So yeah, let's get after it. There she is. Let's get the hangar door opened up, and we got about an hour to knock out this pre-flight. All right, so we got tools, an airplane, and a can-do attitude. So we're gonna get her hooked up to power first, because I want to get her powered up and make sure we don't have any weird faults. Got our ground power unit, and that is locked. Give me. 115 volts AC, 400 hertz. Come over here. We gotta plug it in. Happy. We're gonna do tires, check the engine oil reservoir, check hydraulics, check all of our accumulators, make sure she don't got any leaks. And yeah. No leaks, no faults, happy girl. So we'll go main battery on. We're gonna wait for our standby instrument to finish aligning. So when that green bar comes all the way across on the little screen, we wait. I'm actually going to climb up here because we'll also just check our hydraulics while we're up here, because you can do that from the cockpit, which is really nice. All right, now we do APU battery. Give her a few seconds, let her wake up. And external AC power. So we should get a blue cyan CAS message here shortly. Flight control in test. That's just the airplane performing its initial power on built-in initiated test of the flight control system. This is a fly-by-wire airplane. We have a side stick, no yoke, and there it is. So we gotta wait for that to go away. And then once it does, we can go ahead and turn on hydraulics. And we'll just check our emergency lights. And yes, they come on. We have an info message. It's probably related to the flight control system because she's waking up. Yep, that'll clear after we do our flight control checks. Let's look at our electrical page. Alright, info message went away. Still waiting on the flight control check to finish. Alright, our flight control and test message went away, and we don't have any info messages that came from it, which means she's happy. So I'm going to come down here. I want to put my hydraulic systems down here. And I want to... We have a 45 kVA AC ground power unit, which is just enough to run all 3 hydraulic pumps at once, but not to turn them all on at once. So we'll turn 1B on, just because the initial surge from these pumps draws more power. So I like to let them come on, let things stabilize for a minute. We'll bring our PTU online. 2850, 2850, it's about all you're gonna get off of the electric pumps. We're sitting at 21 kVA, so I'll bring 3B online. Let it come up. Fill that whole side of the system with pressure. Turn that to auto. Then bring 3A online. Now all 3 systems are full of the sauce. So now KVAs are sitting at 35, they're happy. I could come over here and we go into maintenance, LRU systems and operations. We can go to chapter 29, and this is one of the things I love about this airplane. So we're in hydraulic system 1, so we could go to this reservoir 1 service placard, and it gives us a temperature compensated range for our hydraulics. So the max we could have is 55 based on proper configuration, which we're properly configured. The lowest we could have is 44, we're at 51, so we're right in the middle near the top end, which is where I like to keep it, and that's hydraulic system 1. Hydraulic system 2. And same, all happy. And hydraulic system 3. So hydraulic system 3 has 2 electric pumps, that's why I had to turn 2 of them on, but it is just 1 system. And beautiful. 38, max is 41, minimum's 33. She's happy. So we will shut this off and kind of gotta get used to the airplane to figure out what's normal and what's not, but all of our CAS messages that we currently have, believe it or not, are completely normal for the aircraft being in the hangar on AC power only. And we haven't inputted any current positions to the flight management system, so it doesn't know where it is, and it has no GPS, so that's why we have the IRS messages, inertial reference system. Last thing we're gonna do is drop the flaps down to 2 and bring them up to 0. It's complicated why we have to do this, but it's to prevent nuisance messages, so I'm just going to do that real quick. Slats deployed, flaps move into 1. And they made it to 2. Then we go back to 0. And now we can, oop, slat's going. We want green. We got green. All right. We can kill that. We can kill that. And we can kill that. All right. Are we recording? We are recording. Look at that. So, the rest of the stuff's easy. Hydraulics, fluid's good. We're just gonna check the oil reservoir. I actually replaced a anti-ice valve on this last week, and it hasn't flown yet, so I'm going to just peek at that. But first we'll do tires and do our exterior walk around and go from there. So, tire pressures on this girl run about 218 on the mains and 200 on the nose. Don't quote me. Again, I am not a maintenance manual. I am not telling you how to do your job. I am not telling you what the right way to do it is. Refer to your aircraft maintenance publication from the OEM or the STC holder or whoever is actually allowed to tell you how to work on these things. So we got about 216. We'll bump her up a little bit. Really close enough. That's what we're aiming for. I have this nice digital one and I like it, but I don't like it. I don't like that it takes a minute to actually give you the proper reading, and it's also maybe not the most necessary thing to get down to the 0.1 on a tire pressure. Oh, what am I doing? But it's pretty. 215, we'll bring her up. A little bit more. Beautiful. And while we're here, let's get a flashlight and give the wheel well yonder. So door seals are good. Safety, tight. Happy. I don't see any leaks. You can use a wipe down, so we'll go ahead and do that. Don't see anything that makes me worry. Our up block's dirty, we'll wipe that down. Okay. We got a little smudge here, well within limits. Gonna wear off before it becomes a problem. All right, so we want this. We want some of these. 1, 2, 3. So, good practice is to wipe down your chromes, and by chromes I mean the exposed metal on your oleo strut, ew, and your side brace actuators, because you get a bunch of dirt and carbon and all sorts of stuff on there, and then it gets into the seal, and then it causes it to leak, and then you have a very expensive fix that you have to do. So on the side brace actuator that actually brings the gear up and down, it uses Skydrol, phosphate ester based hydraulic fluid. Nasty stuff. You don't want to get it on you. It hurts, it stings, it burns. Don't get it in your eyes. That hurts worse, stings worse, burns worse. And on the oleo, on this particular one, does it say it or do I just know this? It takes mineral based hydraulic fluid. I know that because I looked it up once. It may not say it on here. Yep, what am I doing? Mineral base. So, mineral base, commonly known as 5606. It's the red stuff. So not the same hydraulic fluid that's in the rest of the airplane. It is sealed off to its own little happy home inside of here. So we use different rags with different fluids to wipe this stuff off. And for the sake of saving time, I'm just gonna knock this out on all of them and then come back and finish the tire pressures. And if they're really dirty, you could use some alcohol or something, I'm sure, but I always just use the fluid because I know that it's safe. All right, so that's one. And then we've got these up-lock hooks that get dirty. Rather than cleaning them with isopropyl, I like to just give them a wipe with the lube that you're supposed to lube them with periodically anyways, because it's a corrosion inhibiting compound as well, and we don't want these corroding because they are bare metal and they will corrode with all the salt and everything, especially down here in South Florida. And we'll just do this to all three of them. So this is what actually catches the gear and retains it in the up position when they bring the gear up during flight, and it grabs this little roller hook thingy. And it, as the name suggests, it locks it up. And we'll knock out the nose and we'll be done with our hydraulic fluids. And the nose, it's a little different, but basically, yuck. The nose up-lock actuator on this airplane doesn't really have the same problem with getting dirty. And either does this doesn't have a side brace, it has a what we call a drag brace. Clean, but The steering actuators, which are these things, do get dirty sometimes, so I like to wipe those. And I just do this periodically. Obviously the plane goes out and flies and they get dirty, but more often I can get my hands on it and do it. Maybe we get better life out of these components, maybe we don't. I don't know. I'd like to say we do. That way all my efforts are worth for something. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing tire pressures. So we'll check the accumulators right now before I put you down. Trash, done for now, done for now. Those go in the pocket. So we just had hydraulics on, so this may not be accurate. I may have to come back and deplete hydraulic system pressure for this to actually indicate properly. So hydraulic 3, accumulator 2, we are hot. We want 1300 to 1500. We got it at the high end, like I like to see it. These two are still sitting higher than they should be from when we had hydraulics on. So I'll have to depressurize hydraulics, come back and check these. We'll do that here as soon as I'm done checking tire pressures. For now, close and lock, just in case I forget. Come over here to this side. Open. DPIs, differential pressure indicators, tell us if our filters are getting dirty or if they're clogged or in a bypass state. Here's our one of our hydraulic reservoirs, and we've got, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got about 1200, 1400 hydraulic. The rat accumulator, rat, we're hot. That's perfect. And hydraulic 3, 1, we're hot. 81 to 120, 1300 to 1550, 1400, beautiful. And back there are our ecology bottles. This first one, 3A, has had fluid in it since we got the aircraft, and I just have not emptied it, but there hasn't been an increase in fluid. And what that is as there's one of our electric hydraulic pumps, and basically there's a handful of ways that you end up with fluid in there. That was from them doing servicing when they were manufacturing the aircraft. But if that pump were to start to fail, one of the indications would be an increase in fluid in one of those bottles. So I've been monitoring that one. It hasn't climbed. So she's happy. And one day I will drop this whole big panel and I'll empty it. But for now, I don't really have a reason to. So we also like to check these. This is a film they put over this lens because this lens has a bad habit of getting air under it and departing the aircraft. So they're working on a better fix, but for now they put this film over the entire lens, and I just come and make sure it's not lifting, because if the film lifts, then air gets in there and we risk losing our landing light lens. So we are going to go in the hole, which takes a minute. Boop, 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 boop. Turn our lights on in there. They're already on. Beautiful. Get our utility ladder out of the way. get our access ladder down and secured and extended. And so we're going to be looking at hydraulic differential pressure indications in here. Make sure our filters aren't clogging up. We're going to look at, this is our engine oil replenishment tank. So the pilots are able to replenish the engine oils after a flight from the cockpit. We just want to make sure it's full, and it is. So that's that. This is one of the ecology bottles I was talking to you about. As you can see, it's got some lines coming to it. One of them comes from the reservoir. If the reservoir were to overpressure, it'll bleed out into here. Also, when you're bleeding air out of the system, if any fluid escapes, comes out of here, empties into here, you unscrew this, you go dump it. Here's another AC pump. She's warm because we were just running her. Differential pressure indicator. We're looking for red. Red is bad. So we got 4 on here. Other side, same deal, ecology bottle. This is our power transfer unit, which takes the pressure from system number 1, spins a motor, which spins a pump, which then puts pressure into system number 2, and that's PTU, power transfer unit. And DPI good, DPI good. Where are the other ones? They're over there. I see no red. We're good, we're happy, no leaks. There's our other 2 hydraulic reservoirs. And what else do we have back here? Dual packs, pressurization and air conditioning units. They're happy. And we'll look into heat exchangers here, make sure we don't have any debris or birds. There's some bugs in there, but I'm not that concerned about it. And so last week I was in here and we had an issue with this one. It's our wing anti-ice valve for the left-hand side. And basically to troubleshoot it, I swapped the left-hand side with the right-hand side, and then the problem followed to the right-hand side. So then I just changed the right-hand side. So this one, they both got removed and installed. I'm just making sure everything's still secure, that I didn't miss anything. Clampy clamp, tight. The other clamps are a pain in the ass to get to. Good, good. I had this off, good. Bonding cable's good. I don't think I broke anything, I hope. But we did engine runs after I replaced it and everything was happy. The valve was opening when it should have been during its test. And yeah, so that's the whole. There's a lot of stuff back here. A lot I can go over, but for today, we're just trying to kick this thing out. We got about another 20 minutes before they pull us out of the hangar. And yeah. This hellhole, rear equipment bay, whatever you want to call it, is bigger square footage wise than, like, I think bigger than the first efficiency I ever lived in after high school. So the Global 7500 is a big girl. She's I believe they say the largest purpose-built business jet ever created. Obviously, you know, you could take a Boeing business jet or, you know, 737, 777, whatever you want, make it fancy on the inside and call it a business jet. But those were born and bred as airliners. So, as of today, 7500 holds the title of biggest. Also holds the title of fastest, within reason. Oop, we need to put our utility ladder back. It also holds the title of farthest flying, I believe. I think Gulfstream may have just come out with the G800, which beats it. I don't know, I can't remember. But shortly, within the next 5 or 6 months, Bombardier will be putting the Global 8000 into service, which is simply a Global 7500 that has some software changes to it that allow it to hold a little bit more fuel, which means you can fly farther. They tuned the engines up to somehow be more efficient and fly faster. So this thing will fly at Mach 0.95, which is essentially 95% the speed of sound, and also have a lower cabin altitude, which is the actual pressure inside of the cabin when you're flying at altitude. So cabin altitude is going to sit around 2,900. So basically, when you're sitting in this at 51,000 feet, as high as it'll go, you will feel as though you're at 2,900 feet, which is like, you know, Colorado. So you're not going to get that fatigue or jet lag feeling from being in a pressurized cabin for so long. And on this thing, when you can be in the air for, I don't know, 14, 15 hours, puts a lot less strain on your body, makes it more comfortable, makes it to where you're less jet lag, makes it to where you can do your job. Disconnect. So I'm just going to finish doing a walk around, make sure I don't see anything I don't like, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll kick her out the door. So we got her outside. This account, I actually stick around and wait for the owner to show up, and make sure they take off and do a full dispatch of the aircraft, just to make sure they don't have any issues. So now the crew got her fired up. We got no faults. She's happy. So we're going to wait for the owner to show up. And then we're going to get out of here and head to the Embraer that we have to do the wheel changes on. So we hurry up and wait. All right, so we got the Global kicked out. So now I was about to head up to the Praetor to knock its wheel changes out, and I realized I couldn't find my 2 1/8 inch socket. So heading to the tool store, the local tool store we got here, gonna pick one up, and then get on the road and head up to a different airport to knock this out. All right, here's the Embraer Praetor 500. We're gonna be changing these 2 wheels out today. because we got worn tires. They're not out of limits yet, but in the corporate world, we'll change them early just to prevent missing a flight, because I don't see this aircraft all the time. So while I've got it here, I'm going to go ahead and do some preventative maintenance and get them swapped out. And yeah, we'll go from there. So let me get set up, get my tools out, and we'll knock this out. Okay, so we have tools. We got our axle jack. We'll lift her up with. Got our maintenance manual. And I need gloves before we go any further, which are here. And let's see. Brakes are off. Lift with the axle jack. Deflate. We'll need to pull the middle door off. That's just one bolt and it slides off. Drive cap. And then pop the wheel off. Easy enough. Let's get her off and we'll go from there. Oh, she's stuck. Contact. Always want to pull the chocks out before you jack. And again, these aren't quite out of limits yet, but we're gonna do them early while we have the opportunity to. Yeah. So, get this door off. It's just a couple bolts. You and you and you and you and you. Washer nut. And this door should now, wiggle on off. There we go. We'll just set it down right there. Can only go on one way, so we don't gotta get confused putting it on. We'll give this a good cleaning before we do that. Now we can do the wheels. Set these with the door. And we'll go after the outboard wheel first. So I need my valve stem removal tool. Got one of these. This is nice because you just screw it on. Can't lose the valve stem. And it points the air back at the wheel so you don't have anything shooting out at you. Because these are, what do these get inflated to? This one, per this gauge that I never trust, sitting at 35, about 150-ish. Pull off our drive cap and our coupling for our tachometer for our anti-skid system. Looks good. So the wheel spins. This is attached to it. Those splines engage with those splines. Spins a little tachometer, or it's essentially a little generator that sends pulses to tell the airplane how fast each individual wheel is spinning. And that way, in the event of a skid, it'll disengage the brake from that wheel and then re-engage it just to prevent loss of control. We'll screw this back in a little bit. And put a cap on it. We can get one of these. Yep, there's one of these. These are the bolts that prevent the nut from backing off, the main axle nut. Now, our brand new socket that I don't think I have an adapter for, because that's huge. Okay. Let me see if I could go borrow a socket from somebody on the field that will actually work, because I didn't realize this was 3/4 drive. So we'll be back. Okay, so after a brief excursion, we got an adapter to go from 1/2 inch to 1 inch, so we can apply and unapply torque to our heart's desire. These don't get torqued down very much, so 3/8 drive wrench ratchets is usually enough. So let's glove up and get it off. Move to the other side. Come off easy? Yes, she will. There she is. So, our brake stators and rotors, we'll give that a quick inspection. This is the anti-skid transducer, tachometer, wheel speed transducer, all sorts of different nomenclatures between the different OEMs. But again, with the drive cap installed, it spins this, creates a current, and sends a signal to a box, probably something like a landing gear control unit, or it may have a dedicated anti-skid box. I'm not as familiar with that system on this airplane. And monitors all the wheel speeds for the mains. The nose it seemingly doesn't care about. So we have a spacer in here. Let's see if we can get that out. I don't know if it's supposed to come out, but I'm used to doing the Challengers and Bombardier products. It doesn't feel like it comes out. So let me check the manual, make sure I'm not supposed to pull it out. No, it is bolted in there, now that I see. So let's refer to the maintenance publication. Removal. No, so it doesn't care about it. So let me just check the installation. Nope. So that doesn't need to come off to be cleaned before we put the new wheel on. So we'll just make sure we get all the old grease off of the axle here. And we'll go ahead and pull the other side. So we've got our axles cleaned, inspected. We need to lubricate them, and it's calling for Mobile Aviation Grease SCH 100, which I keep that on me. We got Mobile 28, which is the dark stuff, SCH 100, which is the pink stuff. So we'll set that there. In the meantime, we'll get these new wheels, new used wheels, repaired wheels, overhauled wheels. I believe these are in overhauled condition. We'll check the paperwork. March on the inboard position, August on the outboard position. That way it's easy for me to remember. 3 and 4, sequential order. Toss this here. And let's lube some axles. So there was a lot of lube on this before. I don't like putting as much lube as the last person did. It just makes a mess. And the manual specifies a thin coat of grease. So that's what we're gonna do. You just need enough to lubricate the bearing surfaces where the Yeah, the bearing surface is where the bearings sit. It's not even a bearing race. That's about what I like to put, because that's enough to get the job done and not make a huge mess when the wheel spins up. That'll do. So we want, we'll do March 1st. Get the covers off of the bearing. So axles are good, inspected, brakes look good, no signs of leaks, no signs of damage to any of the carbon. All that looked good. Axles are lubed. So yes, we are ready to install a wheel. And want to make sure our brake keys are relatively lined up so we're not fighting this thing going in keyways, and then these are the keys that engage with the brake rotors. And we're just gonna gently slide you on. And get a little, oops, all right. That's what we don't want. So I'm gonna clean this off so there's no dirt in the bearing. We'll have to pull a snap ring out. Landed this side down, so the rest of it should be good. Pop a snap ring out to slide this back in, and now we know not to do that on the other side. Phillip, flat. Snap ring, bearing seal. Bearing goes in. Looks like this seal has some flats on it. Yes, it does. Seal in. Stay. I might have to pull the wheel back off to do this. Or maybe not. That looks happy, I think. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm going to take it back off. I want to be 100% sure. So we'll do it without the weight of the wheel, pushing the bearing out. These are conical bearings. Bearing is in. That goes in, nice and flat and smooth and happy. And now we know. Don't slam it on. Up. And gentle. Gentle. I'm gonna push this time. There we go. Now I'm happy. We will clean some of this grease off of this nut. I'm just going to finger tight this on right now, and we'll come back and torque them all at the same time. Have to look in the manual and see what the torque is. Basura. No more stickers. Okay, let's get the other one on. All right, let's see what our torque's supposed to be. Maybe pick up some of our trash and make a pile first. All right, so I got the wheel on, put a thin grease on the axle, line the rotors. We missed something. We did. We missed a very important part. That's why we read the manual. Axle washers. They stuck to the old wheels and I didn't even realize they were there. These are keyed so they don't spin around in the event that the bearing isn't happy. There we go. That's better. Some airplanes have them, some airplanes don't. Some airplanes rely on just the axle nut and no washer. This is my first time changing wheels on a Praetor. Actually, I take that back. I used to work at Embraer, and I did it one time when I was there. And that must have been 6-7 years ago, maybe. But they had me primarily on the Phenoms when I worked there, on the NetJets line, not on the big boys. Unless it was a job nobody wanted to do, and then I got stuck with it because I was a young guy. All right, now we can torque. So, what do we need? We're gonna go 600 inch-pounds, back it off to 0. We're gonna go 300 for a final, and we're gonna try to line it up. There's usually a do not exceed, there it is, so that is our effectivity. Legacy 450 or Praetor 500. This is a Praetor 500 aircraft, so we will not exceed 380 inch-pounds when trying to line that up. So we will 600 initial. On both of them, then back them both off, then do 300 final. And find our safety holes. This is always fun to do alone. So gentle spin. That's 600. spin. That's 600. Ah. 300 now. First we gotta go to 0. And I won't loosen with my torque wrench because it is not best practice. For 600 we may need some assistance from the pipe. Zero. Zero. Now we'll do 300. Still at 300. 300. 300. And then we don't want to exceed 380. 350, 370, 380. So if it clicks, no bueno. But let's see if we got any holes that are lining up now. That one's close. That one's close. I don't think this is gonna go. Let's see. Nope. So the next hole we're gonna aim for will be somewhere in there. Let's just put some more torque on it and see where we end up. See how much more it'll let us go. So the static torque is greater than 380. So we're gonna break it loose and torque back to 380 and see where we end up. Since 380 is our max. And we are still nowhere near it. Let's try 300 again. Maybe I just did a little too much on it. Okay, so we can go just a little bit more. So we were able to re-torque and come up just short of this hole. I gave it just a little bit more, and now it'll line right up. So definitely didn't exceed 380, but now we can safety. That's good. That's good. We'll do the same on the other side. And then I can wipe everything off and get these gloves off and do some safety wiring. So this side lined up perfect at 300, it looks like. We just gotta shimmy, shake this a little bit to get it where we want it. Beautiful. It's hot today. It's about 90 degrees out today. It's cooler this weekend, but of course, Monday comes around and we're back to hell. So I need safety wire, which is here. We'll use 32 thousandths. Last person to use 25, and I don't love it. Where are they? There they are. Okay. Okay. All right, there. I don't want to have this slapping around. Like that. Like that. Toit. You always want to make sure your safety wire is as flush as you could get it to the nut on these, because it can, if it sticks out, it'll ride on the inside of this. And I've found caps that were basically, this stainless will cut its way through the aluminum and potentially lead to the drive cap separating, and then you have the part that spins your anti-skid not being driven by the wheel, and that's going to lead probably to some braking issues, I'd imagine. So that's good. We're happy there. We'll stab this back on. Find your home. Find your home. Find your home. There we go. These get torqued to something very low. I'm just going to snug them up real quick. We'll do the torque on those because I do not want to snap these, because I've done it before and it is not a good day. Having to drill a bolt out of a wheel. Ba-bum, ba-bum.
They wanted you to spot. Didn't you? Want me to take you there? They wanted you to spot.
25-inch pounds. She's the little guy, which I hardly ever get to use. 25. Give me that. $25. 25. Safety wire those up. So that is in a tightening. Happy. Same thing on this side. Wait. We're using the Insta360 Go, and I am pushing this thing to the limits of its battery. So we're just going to do the same thing on that side, and then we'll inflate them, and I'll put that door back on. Beautiful. All right, that's that. Just gotta clean up, get everything back in the truck, and we get to go home. All right, and with that, we are done for the day. I went ahead and got everything cleaned up. Old wheels back in the box so I could send them back. And yeah, should go without saying, but I'll say it. Obviously, everything I did today was per the maintenance manual. I either read it beforehand or read it as I was doing the job. Follow your maintenance manual. Don't use my videos as instruction, purely for entertainment. One of the reasons I'm making these, one, because I think it'll be fun, but two, our industry is lacking younger guys. Younger experience or inexperience, just younger guys that have mechanical talent and can follow instructions and can do the job, and it's hurting the industry, you know. And hopefully a young guy could watch this and go, oh, that's cool, I want to do that. And my position within the industry is odd, and there's not too many like myself to where I'm not just the mechanic, I'm the director of maintenance or maintenance supervisor, or there's a whole different ways to put it on these aircraft, being that I oversee all the maintenance. Some of the maintenance I do myself, some of the maintenance I send out to larger shops. It all depends on what the customer needs and what I'm able to get done for them. So yeah, but this is a side of the career field, whether it be airlines, freight, charter, everything I work on is pretty much private, Part 91 as we call it. So I don't have to deal with any bigger companies watching me. I'm in charge of the maintenance on the airplane. I make sure it gets done properly, and at the end of the day it falls on me to make sure it's safe. So yeah, tomorrow is a paperwork day for me. The plane that I just finished up on doesn't fly until next week, so I'm not in a rush to get the paperwork done on it. I'll finish it up tomorrow and ship all my parts out that need to go back for repair or exchanges, and should be a relatively easy day. Not outside in 96-degree weather, says my truck. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.